Good morning and welcome to the DFS YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at the pitching for today, the 13th of June. It is Thursday. We do have a 4-game day slate and a 6-game main slate this evening. From my understanding, there is zero weather issues to worry about, which is always a plus. Reminder, this is a first look at the pitching options on the slate. I do try to go more in depth for members at DFS Army. Um, and I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. On FanDuel, I would go with a much smaller pitcher pool just because we don't have to be as creative, as pricing isn't as tight as far as our stacks go. Um, just looking at our weather station, looks like it's going to be pretty warm across the nation for games. A lot of wind actually blowing out in, let's see, Baltimore, Kansas City, St. Louis, New York, Boston, LA, but uh, Southern California, generally the wind is blowing out, but it's negated during night games. But we aren't here to talk about offense, we're here to talk about pitching. So let's start with the 4 games main slate just to look over some options real quick. Generally, you're going to play a lot of the guys on these small slates, just because you don't have to get the higher numbers that you might on a main slate. But I don't think I can take Ronaldo Lopez against Baltimore. It's been really impressive. Has some hiccups, but he keeps plugging along, keeps getting it done. Um, I'm just not really interested in him against Baltimore. I think I'm going to go pretty heavy in this range here. Nestor Cortez, Keller, Cole Irvin, and Lance Lynn. Not really interested down here. Excuse me. Patrick Corbin. I have a feeling some people are going to talk about him as an option, and it might be the case. I'd have to dig into Detroit's numbers against left-handed pitching at this point, but really I want to focus on Lance Lynn, even though I don't really enjoy rostering Lance Lynn. He's thrown 4 innings in each of his last 2 starts. Not overly exciting. He's a small favorite in this game. K prop of 4.5, choose strongly on the over. I think he's viable. He dominated Baltimore somehow. And seeing that he had his best start of the year against Baltimore means that he should be viable against most opponents. It just doesn't feel great going his route. Mitch Keller, the opposite side in that game, has been throwing the ball really well. K prop of 5.5. Juice is slightly on the under. Like I mentioned, slight underdog, but uh, gotta like Mitch Keller. Hasn't been as strong on the road, but definitely somebody I'm interested in. 20 plus fantasy points in 5 of 6 starts. Back to back 28s, roughly. Just throwing the ball really well. So, uh, definitely going to be interested in Keller. Nestor Cortez, I don't really want to pick on Kansas City, but we do need to use some pitchers. K prop of 5.5. Juices on the under. He's a minus 162 favorite. The issue is we got a game total of 10.5 right now. It's extremely high. We actually have 3 really high totals on this game: 10.5, 9, and 9.5. St. Louis and Pittsburgh's 8.5, so it's not like it's massively different. But I think Ortez has some upside in the matchup. Borderline. If we had a few more options, I don't think he would make the pool, but it is what it is. Cole Irvin, gonna look to go there. I don't really love the idea of picking on Atlanta, but let's be honest, they just haven't been that great offensively. Um, so I think there's a route for him to being a strong play. Um, but this pitching on the slate just is not exciting. Um, I think at the pitching position for the slate, you just have to kind of survive. Um, Hope you get 30 to 35 fantasy points combined between the two, and probably be sitting decent if you do that. Obviously, I could be wrong, but it's just not a great pitching slate overall. Mitch Keller is definitely going to be my number one guy on that slate. Let's slide into the main slate and take a look at the pitching options here. We get Joe Ryan up against the Oakland A's. Had some issues at home. His K numbers are better at home, but I don't know if he's just getting unlucky or what, like underlying numbers wise, but uh, obviously can have a home run issue. And that's important in this spot because Oakland had been hitting a bunch of home runs, but they also strike out a ton. Uh, so, I mean, it just feels like you just have to play Joe Ryan. It's minus 245 favorite. K prop of 7.5 with juice on the over. So, great spot for Joe Ryan. Also, a great spot for Garrett Crochet. Um, I'm finally going to come on board. K prop of 7.5, juice on the over as well. He is an underdog, but this game total in Seattle is 6.5. Um, doubles his strikeouts in 2 out of his last 3 starts. Seattle leads the world in strikeouts, so big time upside matchup for Crochet. Noah, I don't mind him. I don't know that I'm gonna prioritize him. He's been phenomenal on the road this season. We just have a bunch of pitching options up here at the top, and if there's anybody that I'm gonna fade, it might be Noah. He is a minus 122 road favorite. K prop of 5.5, juice on the over. Feels really weird to consider fading him when he's just 9K. So maybe he does make my pool, but I do like to fade some guys here. Obviously, I'm going to fade Ryan Yarbrough. No reason he should be 9,000. He's going to be a long reliever. Maybe he might start traditionally. I don't know, but it's just not going to happen for me. I don't really see a world where he picks up, 25 fantasy points in this spot. So, kind of a quick and easy fade for us. Tanner Houck, guy I've been using a ton. Home runs have kind of crept up. There's actually just 1 home run. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong column. But he's been phenomenal this year, to be honest. Philadelphia is a dangerous offense. That I can admit. He does have a K prop of 5.5. Juice is on the under. But he's just a slight underdog. Um, he's somebody that I might want to keep in my pool because I think people are going to ignore him. When you have Luis Castillo right below him, I expect Tanner Houck to not be owned all that much. So that's something that really intrigues me GPP wise. Overall numbers haven't been as strong at home, but it is what it is. There are some bats in this Philadelphia lineup that can strike out. I know they're dangerous. One of the best offenses, if not the best offense so far this season. Generally, we don't want to pick on offenses like that, but Tanner Houck's really impressed me. I do think there's a route to success, and call it just a GPP gut feeling, I guess. The aforementioned Luis Castillo in a game with a total of 6.5, coming off of a rough start, but we do know that the White Sox overall just aren't very good. He's been much better at home. I believe that was the case last year as well, pitching in Seattle. So he's very comfortable pitching at home. Very strong favorite, even against Garrett Crochet. K prop of 6.5, I believe it was. Yep, with juice on the over. So will be fairly popular, which is also why Tanner Houck slides into my pool as a GPP pivot off of Luis Castillo. Luis Severino struggled against Miami the first time he faced them, but he has been really strong at home. Walks are still somewhat of an issue, but he's had some really strong starts. Definitely has the upside, and obviously gets a solid matchup. K prop of 5.5, juice on the over. He is a minus 198 favorite right now. So there are a lot of pitching options that I think are great spots. Severino, Castillo, Crochet, Ryan. Nola's in a decent spot, and then Houck, pretty strong spot for GPP purposes. It's already 6 pitchers right away at the top that I think are all worthy of, 20+% really. I don't know if I'm going to get to 20+% on each of them because I want to be heaviest on the guys that I think are in the best spots, but definitely interested. Maybe Brandon Fott might probably make my pool, but he has not been sharp the last few. So I'm just not sure if I want to go there. He has been best at home, so that fits. He's a -185 favorite. K prop of 5.5. So he has some things that are going for him. Uh, his walk rate is way down when pitching at home as well. So he might be somebody that sprinkle in, but I also might really focus on those six guys. Um, you know, it'd be interesting to see what I kind of think about and come to as the day goes on in the research. Luis Medina looked great against Atlanta, looked horrible against Toronto. Get the Twins matchup. They just put up a ton of runs, but they do strike out. They do have issues scoring runs at times. I could see some people talking up Medina a little bit as a punt with upside. I'm not going to get there, I don't think, but I did want to mention him because he does have the mid 20s upside. He did it on the road at Atlanta. Um, could he do it at Minnesota? Certainly. It's certainly possible. Um, but as of right now, I don't see myself using him. But I am really interested to see what the industry thinks of the matchup. And I wouldn't be shocked if we see, you know, 5 to 7% owned Luis Medina. But there we have it. There's the first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. And if you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's RAZ, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.